Welcome back to another episode of the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast. Corey Jason, John Pauline, eulogizing our favorite teams. We thought maybe we would get a matchup Yankees Phillies. Ben, who's a Met fan, Yankees Mets, a Mets Phillies NLCS. We felt that coming into this season that the three of the teams that we support out of the four of us, we thought we had a shot to really have something special. And the Mets, they ended their season at the end of the regular season. It felt over for them pretty early on. But for us, we made it to October. We moved past the lows during the summer, had some highs, and then just fell flat. We'll really get into what went wrong for the Phillies and the Yankees. But just to kind of paint the picture of where we are right now, the Brewers, the 1 seed, defeated the Cubs, the 4, 3-2. The Dodgers, the 3 seed, defeated the Phillies, the 2 seed, 3-1. Now they take on each other, the Brewers and the Dodgers. Game 1 will be tonight, 10:13, as we record this on Monday. Seattle Mariners, the 2 seed, defeated the 6-seeded Detroit Tigers, 3-2. That was a 15-inning Game 5. Toronto, the 1, defeated the Yankees, the 4, 3-1. Right now, Seattle-Toronto. Seattle leads the series 1-0.
And it's tied right now.
As we stand right now, they are tied 3-3, right around the 5th inning in Game 2. So let's kind of start it off with that Detroit-Seattle game. It was a 15-inning, one of the all-time great games. This is why we don't want the ghost runner. Let these teams earn that win. Don't gift them a runner in scoring position. Make them earn it. This is going to go down as one of the greatest postseason games of all time.
I mean, no question about it. I mean, 15 innings. I mean, you had Skubal. Was that a postseason record? 13 strikeouts?
So it's a postseason winner-take-all record, 13 Ks, but also a record 7 Ks in a row.
I mean, that's such an amazing. I mean, off of that alone, even without the 15 innings, that's just such an amazing game to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last week. If you can get that to a Game 5, I'm taking the team with Tarek Skubal to win it all because he's the best pitcher in the American League.
And he proved it. I mean, he proved it. I mean, I think he gave up 2 hits and 1 run. But
going
13
only
strikeouts.
6 innings was not the best. You would have hoped he could have gone a little deeper.
Well, when you're throwing that many strikeouts.
Right. When you strike out so many people, it's going to be tough on the pitch count. And you also don't want to hurt the guy. I know you're pitching for this year, but these players' limits. You know that if you start pushing him, super deep in that pitch count, 120, 130 pitches, really, really up there, they're more likely to hurt their arm. And you want him to be able to play next year. If he tears something and he's out all of next season and you still lose, was it worth it?
Well, and you're also doing the thing you're in the mind that if you win the game, you need them for the other playoff series too.
Right.
You don't want to use them all up.
You don't want to, play it that way completely, but you also don't want to sacrifice the complete and total health of a guy, in a whole, possible season next year if he tears something.
Unless I think the only time I see you doing that is World Series on the line almost.
Of course. I mean, because that's to win a chip and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You win a championship, it doesn't matter what you do the next year. So their offense is what really set the tone for me. Detroit, Kerry Carpenter, only guy. He was the only offense in Game 5. He had a 2-run shot in the 6th. He was the only one that really stepped up. In that winner-take-all Game 5, Detroit was 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, and they had left 10 men on base. You're not going to win if you're not going to knock guys in. Get timely hits. And I think that's really where they failed. When they needed that big knock, nobody came through except Kerry Carpenter.
I mean, that's really is. If you look at the box score too, it's not like not like Seattle did much better. I mean, much better. I mean, they both had 8 hits, and the score was only 3-2. So it's not like neither team's offense was really, up for that
Right.
game. And I think the Tigers also had 2 errors also. So
Yeah. So, I mean, the lack of defense, offense, and quite frankly, you're going against Seattle, who, is the hottest team in baseball. You have Julio Rodriguez, who's been insane, Randy Arozarena, who's a great player, Cal Raleigh, who does nothing but hit moonshots. Plus, the Mariners pitching staff is something that we've talked about all year as being one of the best all around staff. You know, they don't have the highest of high end starters. I'm talking like they don't have a Skeens or a Scooble or a Crochet, but they do have a Castillo, a Wu, guys like that can really show how deep their pitching is. And all their guys are not even good, they're all great. Every single one of them is supremely talented. So when you can run 4 or 5 starters out there, you're going to be in for a solid time. Andres Munoz in the bullpen to back everything up. They're a very, very solid team, and they're going to put up a big fight with Toronto just by the nature of pitching wins.
I mean, in taking that first win, my first game against Toronto the other night was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, it's just huge. I mean, you talked about in the preseason that you thought Seattle was like the team of destiny this year for you, that they were the ones that are just gonna, like, this is just their season.
Yeah, and as an Aaron Judge guy, I don't want that because I keep hearing too much about Cal Raleigh this, Cal Raleigh that. He's a great player, having an MVP caliber year. It's just not this year that he's an MVP player.
I mean, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, it depends. I don't know. Do the vote? I mean, like how? I mean, like the
The
voters
votes
really
were
take
they've already
account.
voted.
They already
Nothing
voted.
that happens in the
Yeah,
postseason counts.
but
Does that help or hurt Judge? Help or hurt Raleigh? I don't know.
I think it
But
hurts Raleigh more than it.
that's why I'm almost rooting against the Mariners, which hurts because I've always been such a supporter. Because I just don't want to keep seeing all this Raleigh compared to Judge stuff. Because if you can't prop somebody up without tearing somebody down, then you might not have the best argument. When you talk about Judge, you talk about the OPS, the home runs, the average. But for Raleigh, you're talking about, oh, he's got 60 home runs, 62 home runs now, including the postseason. That's better than Aaron Judge. It doesn't matter because he plays great defense and Judge doesn't. Like, that's what's holding me back on going all in on the Mariners. But before we predict that Mariners Blue Jay series, I want to tie a bow on the Tigers. What went wrong? Like, what if you had to pinpoint one thing? Would you say it was the offense?
I mean, you look at that. You look at the 15-inning game. I mean, it's the one thing, the offense. Like literally, the offense let them down. Because I mean, you knew it was going to be a tough series, right? You knew it was going to be a tough series. You knew a lot of people, thought it was going to go to Game 5. I mean, you knew it was going to be, it was going to be a hard fought series. The pitching did well. I mean, you couldn't have asked for more from Screwball. And the only one that showed up was Kerry Carpenter that game. You needed more. You needed more from your players,
Yes.
and that's where it went wrong.
So where do they go from here? How do you view them in a way too early view from next year?
Well, pitching solid. I don't think pitching solid, but but we always say can't have enough starting pitching.
Can never have enough.
Have
Look
never
at the
start
Dodgers.
pitching. Never have enough starting pitching. But I mean, I think they're relatively still a young team, right? Like they have a lot. Like these are relatively, they're relatively on the younger side for the team. I think.
They are,
So
but you got guys like Labor Torres who are now getting near that older veteran status. He's on a 1-year deal, so do you look to resign him? Scooble's nearing the end of his deal. He'll be on the other side of 30 next year. What do you know? What do you do about Scooble? Do you look to extend him? Can you extend him? Will they extend him?
I mean, if the Tigers want to continue to be playoff contenders and possibly, go to a World Series and win one, It starts with extending Scuball or like you're making sure you have him on your team. Just simple as that. Because I feel like offensive guys are the thing, but I feel like you can find offensive guys to plug in and stuff and play.
Right. And then you have your core with Torkelson, Riley
Yeah,
Green. You know, these guys are really good. Kerry Carpenter.
yeah,
So pair that with, locking down an ace.
that'll get you far.
That'll get you far. Then you can still go after. I mean, the Tigers have spent money. Miguel Cabrera got locked up. They had Justin Verlander all those years. They have the means to pay guys. They just have to do it. And I don't like the idea of Scooble hitting free agency. I mean, I do because I think the Yankees will try to get him. And the Phillies will try, the Dodgers will try, the Mets will try, the Red Sox will try.
Probably the Blue Jays. Blue Jays are
The
on
Blue Jays
everyone.
will definitely be in on it. But guys need to stick to their own teams. Keep your homegrown players. And I think Scooble's somebody that really should stay in Detroit, become that guy, be that starter that Detroit hasn't had stay with them since Verlander. Now going on to the Cubs. The Cubs, they lost to their division rival, the Brewers. You had that whole storyline of Craig Counsell leaving the Brewers to take the Cubs job, and then the Brewers bounced them. They were out homered by the Brewers in that game 5. To me, I think the biggest sticking point with the Cubs this season and this postseason, and then especially this NLDS series, the offense vanished. Like, it was just non-existent. It felt like there was something missing, whether it was Pete Crow Armstrong never living up to that early season hype. You had Seiya Suzuki, who was, fine. He was one of their more consistent players. But I just think that the Cubs' biggest issue, the offense, when they needed it, didn't show. And that happens to most teams when they get knocked out. So if just running through this series, the Cubs lost game 1 9-3. They lost game 2 7-3. They won game 3 4-3. They won game 4 6-0. Then lost game 5 3-1. Now, the 2 games that they won, their offense showed up. But then you look at the ones that they lost, 3 runs, 1 run. You're not winning when the other team basically has a quality start. When a team throws a quality start, they're expecting to be the ones on the winning side of things. And I think that the Cubs are a team that's offense really needed to show up.
They really did. I mean, a lot. I mean, I think the story line for a lot of these playoff games, a lot of the reason why they lost is not really the pitching faltering as much as the offense just not producing. Because I mean, we'll talk about more, but I mean, like especially in like the Phillies Dodgers series, that was a huge storyline, just the offense not showing up.
Right.
So I mean, even though we say pitching, definitely helps. I mean, it helps when you're going to win, but if you're going to come back good pitching, you need that offense.
Yeah, and honestly, another thing that I think was a big sticking point with the Cubs, because you said pitching as well, they had Cade Horton, great pitcher for them this year. Great. He got hurt at the end of the year. If he was available for even one of those games in that NLDS, it might change a lot of things because he could have shut that Brewers team down.
I mean, it just shows that starting never can have enough starting pitching.
No.
Just that's why the Dodgers are where they are.
And I do want to kind of move past this notion that the Brewers are this underdog, pesky team. You have former MVPs, all-stars. You have great, great players. This isn't the power of friendship teams that people like to talk about. You have legitimate stars and budding stars like Jackson Churio. Sal Frelick is a great player. You have a lot of really good ones.
Don't they say they have like what? Reese Hoskins, Christian
Christian
Yelich.
Yelich.
I mean,
Andrew Vaughn has the pedigree coming over from the White Sox.
they just, not to mention like they got, not to mention like the past few seasons they have been like the clear cut best team in that
Yeah.
NL Central.
I mean, Bryce Terang is really coming to his own.
Yeah. Like this is just a case of another team finally got good in the NL Central. Is what, like,
Yeah.
like the other teams in the NL Central finally started to get good, and they're starting to catch up to the Brewers, because you see that with the Reds, you see that with the Cubs. They're starting to catch up. So it's not like the Brewers aren't good anymore. It's just that, the other team's trying to catch up to them and get good too. They're not
Right.
like, by any means, they were not an underdog team.
Right. The Brewers and the Blue Jays are very similar in the sense that they will put the ball in play and make you make plays to beat them. They're not going to be like the Yankees or the Phillies or the Dodgers even and try to out homer you. They will make you make plays to beat them. And I think that's what bodes well for the Brewers is they have good pitching and their offense will make you play the cleanest baseball of your life if you want to beat them. But John, I know you've been dreading this. Phillies lost to the Dodgers 3-1. The Phillies got bounced. It was announced today that Rob Thompson's coming back for next season. I'm going to leave the floor to you.
I mean,
Eulogize us.
some people. First, we'll stop the Rob Thompson thing that you just said that, but like some people are fans are going to be upset with Rob Thompson and stuff. But I like before him. I mean, they stunk from what, like at least 2011 until Thompson took over. That was a 2022 season
After they fired Girardi.
after they fired Girardi, and everyone thought the season was over.
That was what, June?
It was very early on.
And then they went on to go to the World Series, didn't they?
They did. They went on to go to the World Series, and sadly they lost to the Astros. But like they got to the World Series, and then since then they've been in the playoffs ever since, and they won the National League East twice. I mean, they made it to the NLCS, and some people they blame it on Thompson, they blame it on stuff, but a lot of the stuff is like out of control. Like you don't control that. You put in your high leverage guy closer in Kimbrel, and he blows the games up. Blew the game. That your offense decides, the whole team just decides they're not going to hit. I mean, it's not him. I mean, he pretty much, I think. Trey Turner, I think, came out and I think like praised them for being like even keel pretty much the whole season and keeps it going. And and it's like he does that, and I think he does a decent job. I mean, some of the questions of how they use players, like like platooning Stott, I think that's what I don't agree with some of that stuff, but for the most part, I mean, he won the NL East 2 years in a row, got in the playoffs. It's just what happens. And
Our first round bye.
yeah, it's just the thing from that's happened last season and this season is the bullpen kind of collapses there in the playoffs, and then the offense doesn't produce to help them out. I mean, with how they lost, I mean, it was completely hard. I mean, just such utter heartbreaking how they lost this season. I mean, last game, I thought if they could win this game 4, force game 5, bring it back to Philly, I'm like, they're going to win. Like, because at that point, I'm like, they're going to win. Dodgers on the heel. They have everything to lose. Phillies have nothing to lose. But, I think it was top of the 7th. They go up. They score a run. The Phillies go up a run. One run, one nothing. Bottom of 7th. I think there's some questionable calls happen. Sanchez gets, I think, 2 guys on base. So you get Duran in, high leverage guy, clean it up. He comes in, ends up, I think, getting like they walk the bases loaded,
Right.
and then walks in a run. The tie walks in the tie and run. They get out of it clean. You go in the extra innings, the 11th inning, and 2 outs. Kirk Green gets a comebacker. All you had to do was throw it the first, and he panicked and he sailed it by home plate.
What do you think about
I
what's
mean,
going on with Kirkring? Because I keep seeing a lot of people say, lay off of him. He's human, all this. And I haven't really seen too much going at him. So was that just made up stuff, or did you see Philly fans really going after Kirkering?
Um, Surprisingly, I mean, I see people, I see Phillies fans laying into a lot of people, a lot of
We know
players, a
that
lot of
The
times.
fans of Philadelphia sports are among the most vicious everywhere.
Yeah,
I
but
just
I
didn't
mean,
see any.
I've seen some memes. I've seen memes about it and stuff, but I haven't seen anyone really they joke about it, but I haven't seen anyone really lay in them or anything at
What did
all.
Kirkering has Kirkering spoken to the media since then?
I think I haven't really seen much. A lot of the stuff I've seen is basically like the teammates speaking up on him, like
That's
Castellanos
what I've been seeing.
spoke up about it and how, everything like that. I mean, I think Kirker's only 24, so he's still, you
Very
know,
young.
young guy there. I mean, the thing is, I think a lot of it just you make mistakes. I see a lot of players speak out about it. I think was it Pedro Martinez spoke about it? I think too. I want to say, could be wrong, but it's not like other players, foreign players and stuff spoke out. It just happens.
No, that caused the Phillies to lose that game, but that's not why they lost that game or that series.
No,
I think that needs to be taken into account. It's one play where the Phillies had multiple plays that they should have or could have made to be in a better spot. And guys like Schwarber, Castellanos, Bohm, Turner, Harper, Realmuto, all could have stepped up better.
And I think that's where a lot of the frustration lays more than on Kirk Green. I think everyone understands that stuff happens. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna make a
Right.
mental error. It happens. I mean, if you played sports or even just in general, it happens. Like happens all the time. I remember playing basketball one time, wasn't paying attention, accidentally shot the ball at the opponent's hoop after I got a rebound.
Ooh, that's
Didn't
bad.
go in. Didn't go in. But
Good.
it happens. It happens. Just a mental lapse. But the biggest thing they lost was the offense, especially
Yeah.
Schwarber, Harper, and Turner.
Who do you
Your big
blame the
three.
most for the offense going cold?
At this point, I don't know, but I'm starting to think it's something to do with that bye almost. Because because it seems like when they're playing out of that wild card spot, or they have to play that extra game or something, like it really helps. But I mean, the past 2 seasons, it just seems like they go cold towards the end of the season and then they just stay cold in the playoffs. And it's like, I don't know what you want to blame it on other than maybe they're trying to do too much. Like, I mean, some of them, I always feel like I don't know, they take bad at bats, they take bad swings at pitches. I mean, the sliders down and away, the dirt always get them. I mean, you can watch, that's like, I don't know why
It's
they even
discipline.
bother throwing fastballs. Just,
Now, does Wheeler's injury, if he doesn't get hurt, do you think this changes how this team in the season ends up, or were they destined because the offense still wouldn't have changed?
well, some of these games, I mean, I question some of them because some of the pitching and stuff, I wouldn't know why Thompson waited so long to use Ranger there and waited to use them and stuff, and he did fantastic. But I mean, I think just because the relief pitching wasn't like as solid as I wanted it to be, and just how the offense did, excuse me, I'm not sure if Wheeler being there would have made a huge difference in this specific series.
Now, what's your outlook for Wheeler and Nola and the pitching staff for next season?
Well, honestly, I'm not very optimistic about Wheeler. I mean, because I feel like I saw that I think after this contract was up, like he's retiring. I don't know. I remember reading that somewhere, but I think after this was up, it's like a 3 year, like the extension was up, like he was gonna call it quits, which don't blame him. I mean, up there you want to spend time with your family, you know.
Right.
But I mean, and after this injury, it's like I don't know, like if he's gonna come back, if he'll be, as good as he has been, because you see a lot of pitchers get hurt, and then when they come back, they're not good right away. It usually takes about a season almost to get right again. And Wheeler's not exactly young for a pitcher, so I don't know. So I'm like not too optimistic with Wheeler, like cautious optimistic. Nola, I think he'll be fine. Like he was doing the injury, he has social, he's up and down a thing, but I think you get off season, spring training, and I think he'll get back to at least like decent. I don't know if he's going to be the your ace anymore, but he's decent. But you don't need him really to be your ace because you have Sanchez, you have him, you have Lazardo for another year. Now, question is if you're going to sign Ranger Suarez or not. So, but I mean, pitching staff, I'm feeling okay with. Bullpen, I'm still questionable. I mean, you got your closer, Duran. Is good. It'll be good for the regular season stuff, but I think they still need some other. You need another solid arm in there with him. So,
Where do you view the Phillies a year from now?
Probably I think they're getting close to like the end here with stuff. So I think
The
this core is
window's
about
closing.
done. I think this core is about done because
Do you bring back Schwarber, Castellanos?
probably let Castellanos go. Because you have your younger guys you want to bring up. They have Crawford there. I mean, they have you're going to have a little bit. Starting to get to a problem where they have these guys coming up and it's starting to get a little crowded in positions. So you let them go, save money, use it somewhere else. Schwarber, I mean, Dylan last week made the argument, not to keep him, go after, Kyle Tucker instead. You know, so it's up what they want to do. But I think this core they have now with Harper and all them is just it's kind of Dylan said they peaked back in 2022 and then they just can't seem to get back there.
Mm.
And I'm not really sure what the problem is.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do because they could go all in on Harper, or they could also slowly start to blow it up to the point where they can rebuild that farm to get back quicker. You have
It's
great pieces like Crawford.
you
You
have
made that
Crawford,
trade for Duran.
you have Aiden Miller down there. I'm not sure about Painter anymore at this point because he didn't have a great season, but yet he's coming off an injury. I mean, they have some guys down there. I mean, it's up. I don't know what they're gonna do if they're gonna, basically say we're gonna rebuild and start moving pieces around and just kind of try
Right.
and rebuild quick and get back to it, or if they're gonna like double down and spend more money on free agency.
We'll see. Now, for my least favorite part, the Yankees are over. That was not very fun, especially after the high hopes beating the Red Sox, coming back from that 0-1 start to the wild card, being the first team in the wild card era to lose game one and then win the next two. Cam Schlittler, that dominant performance, vibes were high, and then we just got punched in the mouth over and over and over again. The Blue Jays, all they do is hit. That's what they do. They put the ball in play. I've never seen a team have such a lucky batting average on balls in play. Like, it's insane how high their average was when they put the ball in play. Now, there was going to be regression to the mean, and that's what's going on right now versus the Mariners. The Blue Jays currently are down 6-3 to Seattle in the sixth inning.
7-3.
7-3 now?
7-3.
It didn't even update for me yet. That's how.
I'm just 7-3. Crawford single to shallow left center.
All right, so my thing has Crawford up right now.
Yeah.
So literally as we speak, the Mariners get another run on the Blue Jays. And the Yankees couldn't stop the bleeding. You had a very pathetic pitching performance from three of your four starters. Luis Heel, Max Fried, Rodon. I mean, Fried and Rodon, you're getting paid the big bucks, and you couldn't buckle down and give us an outing when we needed you most. Like, we trusted Cole, and Cole came out there and shoved and gave and left everything on the field for us when we needed him. He was out this year. He'll hopefully be back
Do you
next year
think having
early
him
on.
would have made a big difference in this
A
series?
massive difference in this series. because one, he would have started game one versus Boston, where I think he honestly holds them down. The only issue is what happens with Schlittler. I don't know if Schlittler ever gets to make that debut and if Schlittler ever gets to do what he does. But Cole in this series versus Toronto at least gives you a chance to win one of the games you lost. Heel was a non-competitive pitcher, couldn't find the zone. Fried is good and bad. He'll have a great start, and then he'll be nothing. And that goes back to his Atlanta Braves days where he was on and off. Rodon was fine last year, and he just could not handle it versus the Blue Jays this time around. He was fine versus Boston in game two, and then just had nothing in the tank for game three versus Toronto. Luckily, we pulled through and won that game. No thanks to Rodon, all thanks to Judge. And you know what? Let's give Judge credit. I never want to hear that Judge can't perform in the postseason again. Like his numbers in October this season. Let me pull them up for you, John, because
pull them up,
they
and then
are
we
awesome.
got to see how they stack against Ohtani too, then, because that's the big comparison.
Yeah,
Ohtani Judge.
So if we look at Aaron Judge's playoff numbers, right? He had 26 at bats in 7 games, 13 hits in 26 at bats. You know what that is? A 500 average. Now 2 doubles, 1 home run, 7 RBIs. He walked 4 times, struck out 5. On base at a 581 clip. His OPS 1.273. That is a great, great time. He hit 500. And then if you look at Ohtani, who Judge is always compared to, Ohtani in 27 at bats, 6 games, has 4 hits. Judge had 13. Ohtani has 4. Ohtani has 2 home runs with only 5 RBIs and has struck out 12 times. He's hitting 148 with a 603 OPS. If anybody needs to be talked about as an underperformer in October, it's Ohtani. When the lights shine brightest, Ohtani does not answer the call. He didn't answer it last year. He's not answering it this year. And just because everybody else on his team does, he's getting swept under the rug and carried to not having that can't perform in October, title.
He even faltered a bit pitching against the Phillies that first game when he gave up 3 runs. Like he got into a bit of trouble.
If you look at pitching, right, if we want to look at Ohtani's pitching, he has a 4.5 ERA in his 1 game started. 6 innings, he gave up 3 runs. Now, that's not great. That's not terrible. He did have 9 strikeouts. But when you want to win, you want your guy dominating. If Ohtani's supposed to be an ace pitcher like he's, talked about, you can't give up 3 runs in 6 innings. You need to shut the other team down. It's just frustrating because Judge finally had a great postseason and nobody, and when I say nobody, I mean nobody helped him out. Like, walk with me here, John. You want to talk about bad performance? Trent Grisham hit 138. He struck out 10 times. Chisholm hit 182. He struck out 5 times. Anthony Volpe hit 192 this postseason. He struck out 16 times. Giancarlo Stanton, playoff Stanton, we talked about it for years. He did not show up. 192 with 6 strikeouts.
Is he done? What's up with him?
I don't know. Cody Bellinger, who went into, this postseason needing a big one in order to have a big contract, he lost some money. He hit 214 with 5 strikeouts. He didn't show up. Austin Wells, he hit 227 with 6 Ks. So none of that compared to Judge helps. Judge hit 500. When you hit 500, right, and nobody else on your team comes remotely close, like outside of Wells, you have Caballero, who had 4 at-bats, hit 250. McMahon had 14 at-bats and hit 286. That's fine. That's good. But you're not getting to the point where you're a qualified hitter with what I'm talking about. Ahmed Rosario, who was a lefty specialist, hit 300 in his 10 at bats. Paul Goldschmidt, 9 at bats, hit 444. So now we're talking about guys who were a specialist coming in against lefties who got pulled early in games. Guys that aren't technically qualified hitters because they didn't have 3.1 at bats per game. So those stats don't necessarily count as much because it's a smaller sample size. The ones that got the play, the one that played every day, they did nothing. Even if you look at Ben Rice, who had 18 at bats, he hit 222. So you have guys that you really needed to show up just fail. Your bullpen, Devin Williams, he was fine. He might have even earned himself a second year with the Yankees if he wants to take a team friendly 1, maybe 2 year deal. I'd be okay with that. He earned it in October. David Bednar, great. Camilo Doval stepped up. Luke Weaver, launch him into the sun. I was singing his praise last year. Weave Dog was the man. But to not get an out in your first 2 outings and then to just not play at all, like you look at the pitching for the Yankees, and that's really where I think we lost on the offensive side. But if you really want to get crazy, you look at the pitching. Luke Weaver had a 135 ERA this postseason. He got 1 out all postseason. Will Warren came in to relieve Luis Gil in that 1 game versus the Blue Jays. He's got an 11.57 ERA, 4.2 innings pitched. He gave up 6 earned runs. Rodon, who's supposed to be a big money starter, you're supposed to have a top 3 guy here. 9.72 ERA, 8.1 innings pitched, 9 runs, 10 hits. Max Fried with a 6.75, 9.1 innings pitched. He gave up 7 runs on 12 hits. This is not sustainable. You had guy Schlittler, 2 starts, a 1.26 ERA. He did not lose you that game against the Blue Jays. He was phenomenal. Yes, they hit him, but like they didn't hit him hard. He did everything you could ask for and put you in a position to pitch, to win. Tim Hill, Devin Williams, all were great. Bednar. Fernando Cruz stepped up I don't know how many times. And then Camilo Doval also looked really good. So you have some foundational pieces, but the offense and the majority of your pitchers all just died and just did not show up when you needed it most. And that's really disheartening because you almost need to revamp your whole bullpen and your whole lineup next year if you want to have a chance. Cody Bellinger, if he had a great October, could have had over $200 million on his next deal. I think he lost him money. Now, what do you think, John? Do you think if a player has a bad October heading into free agency that hurts their possible financial earnings?
You know what? I'm not really sure because I mean, if they had a really good regular season, that probably pays a lot into it. But when it comes down to it, if you didn't show up in the postseason, I'm sure that'll knock off some. I mean, it has to. I mean, because if you're a team, you're looking at the whole picture, right? When you're signing somebody, when you're spending that much money, you're looking at the whole picture, and the postseasons, for how short, for how for how small, how short it is compared to the regular season, it's a big part of the whole thing. It's a big part of the bigger picture when you're signing these players. And if they're not producing in the postseason, especially if they didn't have maybe the most breakout regular season where they just put up crazy numbers, it's you'd have to think that it would drive the price down some, but
Right.
with
Nothing crazy, but
nothing
enough.
crazy. But it would drive it down some. But I think with the market, with how they're signing players and how I feel like contracts are crazy inflated anyway. It might not at all because I feel like you have players getting very, very inflated contracts now. So I mean, it might not, but I would think you take into an account.
Now, on the outside looking in, what did you make of the Yankee series?
Um, Pitching, like I
Pitching?
mean, your ace pitching, your ace pitcher Fried came out, gave up 7 runs
I mean, he
in the
gave up
game.
too many.
too many runs. And then, I mean, you finally had Judge finally stepped up, but no one's even going to notice or talk about it because everyone else
Like
did so
that
poorly.
home run in game 3 when you were facing elimination, down 3, off the foul pole. I mean, what an incredible call. If it's fair, it's his moment. And now it's who cares because they didn't win the series. It'll go down as one of the great moments that only Yankee fans will remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it because they didn't win. If you didn't win, nothing. It's like if you don't win, a lot of stuff just gets discounted or doesn't matter or they're looked at as worse.
Yeah,
And it's like this thing with because Otani may not be doing better as Judge, but he's winning.
it's winning.
So automatically he's going to be talked about as being better, even though not really when you take a closer look at it. I mean, the Yankees did. I mean, I didn't think the Yankees were going to make it past the Red Sox there.
It was
You
looking
know,
dicey.
it was looking dicey. I mean, they clawed their way back. I didn't. I thought the Yankees were going to go 3-0, but they fought for that extra game. So, I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, this is. I mean, if you're a Yankees fan, this is not a win.
No,
Like
it's
you're
not.
you're not a win. This is you wanted to win. I mean, you haven't had success in a while since what 2010? No,
2009.
nine. My bad.
Well, we were in the World
2009.
Series last year.
Yeah. So,
No,
and you got so close last year, and then you fall short
we got
again. You didn't even
embarrassed.
get back this year.
Embarrassed.
Embarrassed. At this point, like who are you putting blame on for this now? Is it
So
just
that actually takes me what I wanted to ask you because we'll circle back to that. On the Philly side, Rob Thompson's coming back. Do you put any blame on him for this postseason failure? Just this season?
for this postseason failure?
Yes.
I some, but not all of it, because first off, the bats didn't hit. Like Harper, Turner, Schwarber didn't show up until like they showed up what game 3,
Right.
but Schwarber showed up game 3, but then that was it. That was all. That was all she wrote. But Thompson, you can't control if your star players are going to hit or not. I mean, you can try to get them, but it comes down to your star players have to do what star players do. If they don't do it, I don't know how much. But I do put it on him because he didn't seem like he had urgency in those first 2 games at home like you want to win. Like he didn't use Ranger Suarez at all. Like I get you put the maybe you wanted to save him or stuff, but it's like after that game 1 when you're in, like you have to be like, I'm gonna put Suarez in here instead. Because you look at the Dodgers when they were putting stuff in, I mean, they put in Glass now to Sasaki, you know what I mean? They put 3
Right.
starting pitchers in a row because they knew how important winning that first game is. And you look at and Thompson didn't do that, and then he put Suarez in that third game and they won. But it's like too little, too late. Like you should have treated those first 2 ones that were must-win games. They're really important to win those games at home. And it just seemed like I don't know, he didn't want to. It didn't seem like you were treating them as must-win games. And then you had you had your back against the wall, and then you're like, okay, well now we gotta do the. It's just so it's just so weird because then you finally use Suarez and he pitched great.
Because that kind of leads me to my answer to your question about who I put the blame. Not Aaron Boone. For the first time ever, I think Aaron Boone had a pretty great postseason. There are very few moves that I can question, and even the ones I can question are not really that serious. It's more nitpicking. Like Boone was solid. The players didn't show up. There was no why would you put Nestor Cortez in who hasn't pitched in a month versus Freddie Freeman in game 1 of the World Series, hit a walk-off grand slam. That wasn't there. The pinch hitting with Ahmed Rosario, taking in and out McMahon, Caballero, the Rice, Goldschmidt stuff. Even his usage of the bullpen was all pretty clean. I truly blame the players for this failure. The pitchers, Rodon, Heel, Fried, failed us. Luke Weaver failed us. You know, Stanton, Bellinger, Grisham, Jazz, Volpe, Wells, Rice failed the Yankees. The only ones that deserve no hate at all are Judge, Schlittler, Boone, Cruz, and Bednar and Devin Williams. Those are the only ones, and Tim Hill are the only ones that really don't deserve any type of negativity because when we needed them, they showed up game after game, day after day. Judge hit 500. Boone had a clean postseason as a manager, which is rare for him. Those pitchers pitched. Schlittler pitched his heart out in 2 games. So it's really hard to blame any of them. And we'll talk more about what the Yankees, the Phillies, and even going back to the Tigers and the Cubs, what we'll look for them to do in the postseason and in the offseason to get back to the postseason next year. Because, like we said, the Cubs are possibly losing Kyle Tucker. Skubal is got 1 more year left in Detroit, I believe. What do the Yankees do with Bellinger? What do the Phillies do with all their guys leaving and aging? Because out of those teams that all eliminated, the Phillies, I think, are in the worst long-term spot because they have a lot of older guys on expiring deals.
I was
They
getting
don't have the influx
reminiscence
of youth.
of, around that, around the like 2008 to 2011 thing where they let their team get too old and they signed them and then they didn't have.
Won the World Series in 08, lost the World
Yeah.
Series in 09, lost the NLCS in 10, NLDS in 11,
And
out
then
of the
just kind
playoffs
of
in 12.
fizzled out because the team just got old. I mean, the team got old and they didn't have anyone in their farm system that really came up and did anything. And I mean, you're looking. I mean, they didn't win the World Series this time, but I mean, made the World Series 2022. NLCS 2023. Won the NL East and then won the NL East again. And the team's core is getting older, and they're not getting
right
younger, and the farm system's not looking the best.
But we'll go over a lot of this stuff in the offseason. Right now, though, John, Brewers, Dodgers. Who do you have winning this series? How many games? And who is your NLCS MVP?
Let's take a look here. I mean, I can say anything. Obviously I want the Brewers to win. I mean, I
But you
feel
think they're
like,
going to win?
sadly, I don't.
So we
I'd
got the
really like them
Dodgers.
to win. I think the Dodgers, purely based off the fact that they can just march starting pitching out there from the bullpen.
How many games do the Dodgers take it in?
What is this? This is like what, best out of 7 right now?
Best out of 7.
So, I'm gonna say 6 games.
I also have Dodgers winning in 6.
Yeah.
Who is your MVP? Mine is Teoscar Hernandez. I think he just keeps it running.
I mean, once someone it's hard to argue against it. It's like once someone gets hot in the playoffs, they're usually hot the whole time. And that's usually your go-to guy. But for just argument's sake here, to give a little bit something different here, we'll go Mookie Betts.
Oh, yeah? Last year's MVP, just so we can refresh ourselves, I believe, was Tommy Edman.
So I'm going to go Mookie Betts because he's not having a terrible postseason.
No, he's not. Now, going to the AL side of things, I have Seattle winning in 5 games with Cal Raleigh as the MVP.
You know what? Let's see. Let me take a look. I mean, it's hard to say that the Seattle won't win now. I mean, they're probably going to win this game, go up 2-0 right now.
For their first ever World Series berth?
It looks like, I think it looks like it. I mean, unless, Vladimir Guerrero, Jr. and the whole offense of the Blue Jays wake up, I mean, I think Seattle pretty much has this.
So how many games?
I'm going to say, 6 again.
6 again. So the Blue
6
Jays claw
again.
2 back.
And
Who's
I'm going
your
to say
MVP?
Julio Rodriguez.
J-Rod.
J-Rod. He already has a home run, 3 RBIs. Already has a 3-run homer. So
just to recap, I have the Dodgers in 6 with Teoscar Hernandez as the MVP. You have the Dodgers in 6 with the MVP being Mookie Betts. Kind of sad that neither of us are picking the Brewers, but I think it's pretty fair to just say the Dodgers are just going to win.
I
They've
mean,
been
it's
there.
hard.
They're the more experienced team.
They have the luxury of using starting pitching as relievers.
So breaking down this series, the Dodgers, Brewers, what is the reason that if the Brewers were to win this series, what would be the reason?
Honestly, just getting to the pitching early.
Yeah, that's
Like
exactly what I was going to
getting
say.
to the pitching early. Like you gotta get up ahead. You gotta
Hit
get out
barrage.
ahead and get the runs early on.
Just start, play ticky-tack baseball, paper cut them to death. You're not going to outslug the Dodgers in home runs, so you need to out-hit them. Churio, Contreras, all these guys, Yelich, they need to just hits after hits after hits, keep churning the bases, make the pitchers work, lots of, deep counts, lots of singles, lots of doubles,
Just
the
put the
occasional
ball in
home run.
play.
Put the ball in play and make the Dodgers make a play.
Put the ball in play, produce runs. I mean, move runners over. You really just got. I mean, really, more than I say, they gotta play kind of almost small ball. I feel like just play baseball. Get runners on, move them over, get them in.
I mean, if we look at what their pitching matchup is for game one, you have Blake Snell versus Aaron Ashby. Snell, Ashby, I would lean Snell. I don't know about you. That's who I would say probably is the better chance of winning. It's square, but I think the Dodgers staff, if the Dodgers were to win this series, it's just because their pitching shuts down any type of offense from the Brewers.
Sadly, I think that's it. I mean, because that. I mean, I think that's just the Dodgers' biggest advantage that they have is just their pitching depth too. Like just in general. I mean, you had a lot of these guys hurt for most of the season, but yeah, Dave Roberts, you got everyone ready at the right time. You got everyone ready at the right time, and now you have a plethora of pitchers to use at your disposal. I mean, and he's been using them. So I mean, honestly, this is the Dodgers series to lose, the throwaway. This is their series to lose.
Now, the American League side of things, we see Seattle possibly on the verge of being up 2-0 over Toronto. If Toronto is to come back and win, they have to avoid the regression to the mean. And with that, I mean, Toronto had such a high average on balls in play versus the Yankees, and they had such an unlucky game one when it comes to putting balls in play and just plays being made. They weren't getting hits. Balls weren't falling. So if Toronto is going to be able to combat this 2-0 deficit, assuming Seattle holds on, they're going to have to get hot again with the bats, knock around the pitching, and they're going to need some luck. Just like they were lucky against the Yankees, I think they had like over a 900 batting average on balls in play or something like that. There's something insane, especially early on in the series. They're going to have to, regress back to the mean and progress back to the mean. Not too high, not too low. Get back to normal.
I mean, really, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is going to have to step it up. I mean, he's 0 for 3 right now in this game as we speak. And he was 0 for 4 yesterday's game. And he was such a huge part of why, they beat the Yankees. And it's just like he's gone ice cold, it seems, all of a sudden.
Now, Seattle, if they were to hold on to this series, what do they need to keep doing?
Keep the offense up. Keep that offense going. Because, I mean, you look at what the previous years, like, they weren't really scoring that many runs. Right? I mean, you barely got a win on that game 5 against the Tigers, against Detroit there. I mean, 15 innings. Like you got shut down. Clearly, you got shut down. Just as much as those Tigers got shut down. It just happens. You just happen to. I think it's just really hard to win the extra inning games when you're not the home team.
It's true. It's
So
very, very
it's just the thing,
difficult.
because if Tigers were the home team there, I guarantee you we'd be talking about how do the Tigers beat the Blue Jays here.
Interesting.
That's what I mean. I think that's what it comes down. That's really what it comes down. That's why the thing. But I think just keep that offense up. I mean, you're putting the runs up now, so you're starting to break out. This game 2 here. So just keep scoring the runs. They're up 9-3 now, by the way.
So they're on their way to having a 2-0 series lead. On the verge of being 2 games away from their first World Series in franchise history, the first World Series appearance, I should say. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. And we'll talk about it next week. As we discuss it, the World Series would not have started by the next time we talk, John. Game 7 of the NLCS is slated to be next Tuesday. The American League Championship Series will be slated to finish, I believe, on Monday. So when you talk about that, we'll be able to have a full preview of what we think the World Series will be. And I think it's going to be really fun because whether it's Milwaukee, Toronto, Milwaukee, Seattle, Dodgers, Toronto, Dodgers, Seattle, it's going to be a fun combination. And, the Dodgers will bring the money, but the other 3 teams will bring fresh blood, kind of like how we saw with the Rangers and Diamondbacks, but I think to a little bigger degree.
Probably. I mean, Rangers, Diamondbacks, I don't think had a major fall, major thing.
No.
Viewership was down, but I think.
But I mean, you have Canada back in the Blue Jays. You have the Cal Raleigh watch. Milwaukee's just the number 1 seed, a solid team. They probably have the least juice out of the 4. And then obviously the Dodgers are probably the second biggest brand in all of baseball.
I feel like if you're MLB, you want the Dodgers to make it. If you're just a baseball fan, you probably want a lot of the other teams to make it, unless you're just a Dodgers fan.
Right. But we'll talk about that more next week. And again, just to recap, I have Dodgers in 6. John has Dodgers in 6 over the Brewers. I have Seattle in 5. John has Seattle in 6 over the Blue Jays. So a Dodgers-Seattle World Series is what we have predicted here. And we'll say who we think is going to win next week. But that'll do it for John Pauline, Corey Jason. This has been the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast, signing off.